Welcome back to our Young and Heard podcast. We're so happy to be back. We have some very special guests here with some people that I missed being on the podcast with. There's a lot of us that do this podcast, a lot of people that participate. So if you're not watching us on YouTube, you're only hearing us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio, you might not be familiar with the faces or with the voices. So we're just going to go around real quick and introduce ourselves. So what's your name?
Hey y'all, it's Dee Dee.
I'm Noe.
I'm Leah.
And I'm David.
All right, so before we get started on our topic, okay, I saw this TikTok about people are already talking about what's the first thing that they're going to do as soon as the pandemic is over. Like, let's say you turn on the TV tomorrow, right? And the news just says, the pandemic is over. Like, you can go back to, whatever you were doing before. What is the first thing that you're going to do as soon as that happens?
I think travel for sure.
Yeah, where would you travel to?
I would travel to another side of the world. I've been on this side for too long in my home.
Yeah, this side of the lake.
Yeah, this side of the lake. So I want to go to the other side.
Okay, perfect. What about you, Leah?
I actually had a trip planned when the pandemic started.
Yeah.
And it was actually to Europe.
Okay.
So I would definitely say traveling. I feel like kind of how she said, we've been home too long.
Yeah, we've been here. We've been in this zone. What about you, David?
Well, mine isn't traveling. Mine will be more of going to the movie theaters, right? Because my family is very movie theater oriented. So every weekend, every Friday night, we will go to the movies and we will order food, go watch movies. Every movie will come out, we will go watch it, right?
Yeah, talking about the movies, that's crazy because I saw another TikTok that said, I can't believe we used to do this before, like pre-pandemic, And I know you said going to the movies. You had told me going to the movies was something, right?
So me and I had talked about it. I was like, yeah, I don't know how that feels.
Yeah.
Like you sit there with all your friends, and then on top of you is, like for example, David's family. What if you don't know David's family and they're out there laughing and they're spitting on your hair?
And here's the thing: everybody's like on their food, like grabbing their food, putting it in their mouth, all that stuff. Everybody's eating, chewing, drinking.
Dude, and they used to not wipe down those seats.
They used to not.
So.
They used to not. But I went to the movies last night. I went to go see, shout out to Rambo and his family. They rented out the little place, the little a showroom, and they played Kong versus Godzilla. Okay, let me tell you, that theater is the cleanest I've ever seen it in my life. I've never seen it that clean before. And that's something that the TikTok was saying. It was like, for example, for you, it's going to the movies. Mm-hmm. The other thing was I can't believe we used to go bowling. We just went bowling recently for Michael.
We did.
Shout out to Michael, his bachelor party. We went bowling and people bowl. They grabbed the same bowling balls
and we were eating too.
And we were eating, bro.
No, it's not even that. It's the shoes
for
me.
The smelly shoes.
It's the shoes for me. It's the putting your socks in somewhere. How many people have put their socks in?
The smelly shoes, the food, all of those things. I can't believe we used to do that. But for me, the first thing I'm going to do as soon as this is all over, the pandemic, I'm going to go to a concert. I'm going to go to a music festival. I'm going to go throw it down. I'm so ready to be
throw it down.
Yeah, throw it down in the crowd. I'm so ready to just be watch my favorite band, my favorite DJ. I just can't wait for that. That just brings so much joy to me,
I feel like between the movies, I personally kind of don't want to go back to the regular movie theater.
Yeah.
But between the movies and a concert, I genuinely feel it's like an experience, though.
It is.
It's not the same. It's not the same hearing an artist.
Yeah.
On Spotify. It's not the same.
Watching them go live on Instagram or something like that.
It's not,
TikTok. Yeah.
Those online concerts that they've
been
doing, no, it's not the same thing.
Did y'all watch the Bad Bunny one in New York? I thought that one was cool. Justin Bieber. Okay. Was it?
They're funny. They're entertaining. Funny because the crowd be doing some stuff.
I know, but even then they're just in a room. Some of them, they're just, and it might be pre-recorded. Some of them, we're not sure.
Yeah, it's just not the same. It's I generally feel when you're in especially a concert. It's you're vibing with all the people there, and I know it sounds like, what do you mean? But y'all are all.
It's an ambiance. Yeah, for sure. Well, talking about being in the movies and being in a concert. Main character vibes, okay? We got a lot of main character vibes here. What are you going to do when the pandemic's over? Main character vibes. Let's go. What could you tell me what is the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear the phrase, I am enough, right? What is the first thing that comes to your mind? I am enough.
So when you say that, the first thing that pops in like automatically is one time I was having a conversation with a leader that used to be in the young adults, and I was talking to her about I don't know what I want to do when I get to college. I was a senior in high school, so I had to kind of figure it out because I was going into it. I needed to declare a major. I didn't know what I wanted to do, and she gave me like the best answer. Like I literally, when I heard her answer, I was like, "That's it! Like you literally said what you had to say." She was like, God will supply you with the position where you're the alpha and the omega of that position.
Wow.
And in the Bible, if you don't know, the alpha and omega means the beginning and the end. So she's like, she's like, obviously put it in your prayers. She's like, and God will provide you with a position in life, a position with your partner, a position with your job, where you are the beginning and the end. Like it's you. It's just you.
And see, the beautiful thing about the gospel is that it gives us this new identity, right? It tells us, it's good news. It's good news for the broken, for the poor, for the rich, for everybody, right? But it gives you this new identity, this new humility, where you walk into a place and you say, it's not by me, it's not by my strength, it's not by who I am or who I even was, but it is by who God sees me as. And that's something that your friend was talking about, So what can you guys tell me about where that goes wrong, right? Where is it that we start to believe the lie that we are not enough and that we are not accepted, whether it be into our family groups, whether it be into our school, our friendships? Where is it that things go wrong in our hearts?
So I think for sure one thing like we can't be doing that's like deadly is like comparing ourselves.
Yes.
You can't compare yourself to another person. I mean, if God created you with a certain identity, if our fingerprints are even different, how much more the things you bring to the table, the value you bring as an individual.
Wow. So talking about, having a different identity, God made you unique, and yet we're all loved. We're all accepted, Jews, Gentiles, the gospel is for everybody, the Bible says, right? What is it that, goes wrong in our hearts? Or what would you tell, David, what would you tell somebody that feels like, that knows these things, or maybe they're hearing these things, but yet they're struggling with not feeling like they are enough and not feeling like they are accepted?
Well, it really actually goes back to what Jesus did, his sacrifice he did for us so we could be forgiven. He grew up as a man. He grew up as someone with meat, right? With all these temptations. He went through all this pain of getting not sacrificed.
Yeah, like he went through a lot of crucified, a lot of pain. He was beaten to death. Yeah.
And you were enough to go through that pain, to live those temptations, to die for you. He sacrificed for you. You were enough for that.
That's so powerful, because when you put it into the depths of your heart, when you remember these things, right? You remember, okay, I love that you said that, David. I always see like non-Christian pages, they post, you are seen, you are loved, you are enough, right? And people are like, wow, oh my God, that's so beautiful. And it is beautiful. Yeah. But what assures me of that? Right? If there is no God, as society says, if everybody can choose their own destiny, their own path, what assures me that I am loved, that I am enough, that I am seen? What gets that into the depths of my heart? I've been in therapy sessions, right? Like, and they say, you're enough, you're loved. And in my head, I'm just like, but what assures me of that? What is it? It's that a God, a perfect God, could send his only son to die for you. There's so many religions out there. There's so many belief systems out there. But there is only one that says that God himself became incarnate, became vulnerable from the time of being a child all the way to growing up, and all the things that David just talked about, all the things that he went through for us. So when I read something like that on Instagram, you are loved, you are enough, you are seen. There's evidence to it. Yeah. Right? It's not just an empty thing like, let me just make you feel special, right? There's actual evidence to it,
And I feel like that is I agree with David, that's one of the main reasons he did it. Like, a través de, like, he also wanted to show you that living a godly life is possible. That was the first thing he showed.
Yeah.
I feel like he was showing, he knew you were going to ask your therapy session. He knew you were going to ask
Wow.
for proof. He knew that it was like, I have to, not that he, well, that sounds kind of
Yeah.
mixed emotions there of like, God had to prove himself to me. But it's just like, he didn't have to. There you go. He did it por puro placer.
And grace is a gift, right?
Yeah.
And it's a gift of love, you know? And I think you were talking about that, David. You said, you know, being on the cross and enduring all of those things, all of those pains for us. He did that for us. And we just celebrated Easter not too long ago. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think that's important. And so for somebody that is you know, still, if you're still, you know, struggling with those feelings and those emotions of like, am I enough? Do I matter? Right? Can't we just remember and look in our hearts and analyze that, yes, right, we are, there's some things that are imperfect. There's some things that are different, that Leah's different, that Dee Dee's different, David and I are different, yet we're all loved. Mm-hmm. We're all seen. Yeah. We're all worthy to be his sons and his daughters, right? So real quick, closing thoughts, Dee Dee, how would you close this podcast?
Well, remember that you are loved, you are enough. Why? Because someone was willing to give up their own like thoughts and selves and give it to you. So just remember that you are enough because someone gave their life for you. Wow, that's a beautiful way of putting it. What about you, Leah?
I would really say just because how you kind of mentioned, you said that we're all different.
Yeah.
I was like, sometimes I've had also struggles where it's like, I'm different. I'm like this. I'm like that. I'm like that. Embrace your differences.
Wow.
Because God made you exactly how you are because you have a purpose here and you came to do what you're going to do.
Beautiful.
Not what David's going to do, not what Danda's going to do. I'm here to do Leah.
And you are enough.
And I am enough.
Period.
Amen.
What about you, David?
God's actions assures you that you are enough. You are enough to be died for, you know, to be through all those pains. You are enough for him, for God to be right next to you always, right? He's always there for you, right?
Wow, that's so powerful. You are enough. So if you're watching this, thank you for tuning in to our Young and Heard podcast. We will definitely see you guys next week. And stay tuned. Subscribe to all of our platforms and follow us on Instagram, Grace Youth Espanol, for more updates. We will see you soon. Bye, guys.
For more of this podcast, follow us on Instagram at Grace Youth Espanol and at Young and Heard.